Howdy ho, Maplers! Reverse City is finally released, and I thought I'd go through each of the new training areas, give my opinions on them, because quite honestly, I think Reverse City is a complete and utter game changer. Like, I've done a little bit of testing in some of the maps that I think will be the best ones, and they're putting out rates that are comparable to Slurpee. So, these maps are definitely better than Vanishing Journey. So, I'll probably come here unless classes are just super OP in Vanishing Journey already, because this is pretty nuts. Like, right off the bat in Subway Tunnels 1, this is a great map, especially for Adele. Like, you can hit all three of these platforms just by jump attacking. It's super nuts how compact these mobs are and how much spawn there is base. Like, with frenzied spawn, there's like no downtime for killing mobs. And although it's the very first map in the area, this is already better EXP than Below the Cave and Eastern Cave Path, because there's just like no downtime on mobs killed. Like, if you have a Lucid Soul or if you have a summon ability, you can just drop them up there on top and then you just jump clear these. And it's honestly quite nuts. Like, this is the first map in the area, and it's already better than one of the best maps in Vanishing Journey in terms of EXP per second. It's nuts. And that extends into the Subway Tunnel too as well. This one's a little worse because the top platform is a little higher, and if you wanted to hit that, you risk flash jumping up onto this platform. So it's not as good as the other one, but if you were a class like Luminous or something, you could just stand up here and reflection left and right and just get nuts EXP, and you wouldn't have to move hardly at all. It's a really good map for Luminous to get to 210, because honestly there aren't very many good maps for Luminous in Vanishing Journey. Subway Tunnel 3, it's more of the same as Subway Tunnel 2, so I'll skip over it. Again, if you have big AoEs, it's a fine map, but the first map is just perfectly laid out. Like, there aren't many flash jumps that'll put you up on that second platform consistently, so it's really easy to clear without being tedious. Then Subway Tunnel 4, it's more of the same as the first Subway Tunnel, just a little bit different. This one has more spawn on this very top one, so it's more reliant on having summons to throw down up there. But otherwise, it's more of the same. You just flash jump through an attack, and the middle platform is high enough that you're not going to flash jump onto it on accident. So your flow of training is really, really smooth, and the EXP rate is really, really good. Like, oh man, that's my first impression, first and foremost, for all of Reverse City. The EXP is really, really good. Like, especially with Frenzied Spawn, these maps are so compact and they have so much base spawn to them that just the amount of EXP you're getting for pretty easy training rotations. Honestly, most of these are just jump attacking left and right, and you're pumping out like Slurpee Forest depth levels of EXP for a lot of classes. Now obviously if you're like full clearing Slurpee on spawn, the XP rate you'll get there is better, but it should be. It's a level, what, 212 and 213 mobs, and then the highest level mobs here are like 210, but those maps suck, so the highest level mobs that you'll be training on here regularly are like 207. For these later Subway Tunnels, they're kind of more of the same, a little bit worse because the top platforms obviously have more spawn and they're higher up. Again, if you have summons or if you're a class with big AoEs like Luminous, Angelic Burster, Night Lord with your marks, Night Walker with your bats, you can clear these fairly easily. And the maps just keep getting better from here. Now from here, oh boy, these are the best maps. Like, T-Boy's Research Train, these are the maps. These are the maps. This one especially. T-Boy's Research Train 1 is honestly one of the best maps. I would stay here until 220 for some classes. There's only one platform that you're not hitting while jump attacking. The platforms are perfectly spaced where almost every class that has a flash jump will be able to flash jump and attack through here comfortably. And the spawn is absolutely insane with Frenzy. Like, it's nuts. I did some testing on this one because I liked this map setup. Even without setting a summon up here just to take care of those 4 things that spawn up there, you're still putting out numbers that are better than Dealy Bopper Forest and rivaling Slurpee at times. It's super, super, super good. And this isn't even the best one. Research Train number 2 is kind of like Research Train number 1, except there are more platforms higher up. If you're a class like Angelic Burster with a tall AoE to it, this should be no problem, but you do have 2 platforms up on top that spread out the spawn a little thin, so maybe a class like Night Lord or Nightwalker, a class with a good amount of summons like Xenon, that could put their summons up on those top platforms and then just jump along the bottom would do fine here, but they could probably do better in the first one. Research Train 3 is a pretty good one. Why? Because the 2 top platforms here are close together, so a lot of classes with summons only need 1 summon here. Like Lucid Soul can handle both of those by herself, and then it's effectively just Research Train 1, so you pretty much have 2 Research Train 1s to work with, even if this map becomes pretty steadily popular, which I assume it will, unless people are just really ingrained in not doing the quest line that takes maybe 25 minutes if you hold the spacebar. You should read the quest line, by the way. It's quite good. And then my favorite one. This is the map I'll be training in. The Hidden Research Train. Now this is a 100 Arcane Force requirement, which means the mobs have higher base HP and higher base EXP. The thing is, this is an insane map for Adele. Like, you can hit that top one just by jump attacking. So the only one that's out of my reach is that one right there. And I can throw Lucid Soul, or I can throw Rain on top of that, and just have really, really good clear. And then just jump attack through this. And it's nuts. It's so good EXP. It's really, really amazing EXP. And I'll probably be using these maps for, like, the rest of my 250s at this rate. Because if you can clear this map quickly, like, there's no reason to even do Choo-Choo pre-quests. You can just grind here until 220, and then just do Choo-Choo and Lachlan in one rush, and then go straight into Rev Place 3 or wherever your class trains at, because these maps are just so darn good. The base EXP on the mobs is pretty darn good, and the mobs are so close together with Frenzied Spawn. They're so compact, you're just, like, there's no downtime on mobs killed. They're just amazing maps. Now, Underground Train, these maps I'm a little torn on, because these top platforms, there are a lot of them, and it holds a lot of the spawn of each of these maps. Like, a class like Night Lord or Nightwalker with your marks and your bats could probably clear these just fine. If your marks are one-shotting on a Night Lord, this wouldn't be terrible. You could throw your dark flare on that top right one and then just have your marks clear these 2 left ones, but they're not better than T-Boy's Research Train, so I'm a little torn on suggesting them, but as alternatives to T-Boy's Research Train maps, they're okay for some maps, or for some classes rather. They're not terrible, they're not amazing, they're just alternatives in case it gets too full in the good maps. Research Train 3, more of the same. The platforms on top are just too darn high for a lot of classes to deal with, especially when T-Boy's Research Train is so compact and perfect. But, oops, went into the wrong map. Hold on, we'll get to the Surface Train. There's a hidden map for these, which is honestly quite okay. It's another 100 Arcane Force map. This one's a little bit better because there are only 2 top maps. There's one here on this left side, and then there's one here in the middle. And other than that, this is just T-Boy's Research Train level, because these platforms are all just high enough that most flash jump classes won't have issues landing on them, and they can just jump through and clear this really easily. So if your class has summons like Night Lord, Xenon, etc., you can just set them up on those top ones and then jump along the bottom here. In case T-Boy's Research Train fills up, this is pretty much your best alternative if you're looking for the 100 Arcane Force maps. Now for the Surface Train maps, they're not terrible, they're not great. They have the same problem as the other ones where the mobs are just too high up on the top platforms. So I'm not gonna just repeat myself on each of these. They're kind of meh comparatively to the good maps in Reverse City. They're not innately terrible. There are probably some classes that can farm these efficiently, but in general with Frenzied Spawn, you're not looking to full clear the map, especially in these early levels, so nothing bad here. And then, oh boy, the M Tower maps. Now, I'm gonna make this clear. I don't think, like, I've thought about this a lot, even with Frenzied Spawn, I don't think these maps are useful to any class in the game. I don't think there's a single class that can rotate this efficiently, even without Frenzied Spawn. Like, these maps are ginormous. They're huge, they're sprawling, and the mobs are so spread out. I don't know who or what could even farm this efficiently. Like, look at that, they're so high up from just the spawn portal. How are you supposed to efficiently clear through these maps? I mean, I know why they're here for like the story purpose or whatnot, but just like as general maps that are left over, especially because this is a 100 Arcane Force map, like this is supposed to be the premier training area for the tower, and it's just, I don't know a single class who could train here. These maps just all kinda suck. But again, T-Boy's research train, those maps are absolutely insane. If you want to get through the 200s and get to like 220 fairly easily, if you want to just skip Choo Choo Island, or at least just wait until Yum Yum Island comes out, and then just skip Choo Choo and Lachlan with those maps when that comes out eventually. But I hope you guys found this video helpful. Hope you guys like Reverse City. I know I'm going to once I start this up. For now, I'm going to head back to Mesa farming. I only got this to 205 just to test out the maps on this character. And after I'm done farming on that, I get to start up doing this 250. See you guys later.